Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. How are you, everybody? Come on in. Come on in. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know that you can hear me. I am wearing my Valentine's headband. I thought you would enjoy this. So that's what the Kiss Me headband is for. So come on in. We are celebrating Valentine's Day a few days early, but let me know that you can hear me. So come on in, everybody. And we're going to get right to it. I'm actually sharing a tip. I was working with a seller friend the other day, and she's having a tough time. She's having slow sales. So what I did was I was listening, and I know her inventory pretty well. So we were chatting, has she tried this? Has she tried that? Let me just see how everybody's doing. Hey, Pam, how are you? Arizona. I bet it's warmer where you are today. It is cold and slushy. And it's not even that we got that much snow today. It's just really, really slippery. And I really had to be careful when I went in. Hey, Cheryl, it is good to see you. How are you? Hey, Lynn. Thank you. Glad you can hear me loud and clear. Yay, Lynn's in New York too. Hi, Robin. How are you? Good, 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 everybody. Hey, Kara, keyword snow. I bet, because Kara's in Michigan, that I know. Yeah, and Kara, like for us, we don't have that much right now. It's only maybe a couple of inches. And I'm sure you all are used to this. I'm actually thinking like it's going to be much more dangerous tonight because it's going to be definitely black ice conditions because it's melting a little bit. It's slushy, but it's very slippery. And for whatever reason, they're not being very fast about shoveling. So I was very cautious when I was out today. But I wanted to get to this because I know sometimes we all go through periods where sales are slow. And it's very, very frustrating as a seller. We have bills. This is our business. Some of us are part-time sellers. Some are full-time sellers. But regardless of whether you're full-time or part-time, we all need sales. I mean, we're doing this business because we want to sell. We want the cash flow. We have money tied up in inventory. We have business bills to pay. And it's important to get things sold. So the seller that I was talking to sells a lot of clothing. They do sell some tchotchke things, but basically they're a clothing seller. I did not go and look at their account. I have in the past. We were just chit-chatting. This was not a consultation. This was just a chit-chat. And so they said, and I said, have you checked sold? Have you optimized? And they're going, yes, yes, yes. So then this is what I suggested. And before I get to it, I just want to say is, first of all, I love eBay. The majority of my sales are on eBay. You all know that I love eBay. I find eBay a very friendly platform to sell on. I love the staff. I love the community. I love the executives. I love my shoppers. I'm very much an eBay seller, and I'm also an eBay coach. So eBay is absolutely my home, and I absolutely love eBay. That being said, as much as I'm here to help my eBay seller friends, bottom line is I'm here to help you to get sales. That's what's important. If eBay is what works for you, great. If Etsy is what works for you, great. Or if it's Amazon, wherever it is, what's important is for you to discover what works for you. And this can be a little frustrating, especially if you're new, because what you're looking for is a one-size-fit-all answer. And there isn't one. Now, typically, if you do, for instance, a lot of handcraft, a lot of crafty kind of things, you'll probably find that Etsy is a really good fit. But that's not saying that handcraft does not sell on Amazon and does not sell on eBay, because it does. But whenever you start to sell, you want to start on one platform. So you want to start on Amazon, on eBay, on Etsy, learn it. And I encourage people to really focus for a good 3 to 4 months. I think one of the big mistakes sellers make is they'll jump in, again, unless you have a big staff, and they'll spread themselves too thin. They're doing eBay, they're doing Etsy, they're doing Amazon, and within a year they're gone, because what happens is they've just burnt themselves out. In my opinion, you really cannot learn 3 and 4 platforms at the same time, especially now. This is 2019. Maybe 8 or 9 years ago, there was a lot less bells and whistles and a lot less rules and a lot less things that you had to do with your listings. Okay, that's gone. It is gone. It is much more complicated to list on all the platforms. There's a lot more work that goes into all of it. So This was a seller primarily on eBay and primarily clothes. So I'm going to say to you guys, because you guys are all very, very good sellers, and she's been on eBay for a long time. So she knows eBay, she does eBay. So if I'm a clothing seller and I'm having a tough time with sales, you know, I believe I'm optimizing, I believe I'm doing social media. So you think you're doing the best as far as you know. Where would you go for your second platform if you were to add a platform to eBay? And you don't need to be a full-time seller to add platforms. You just have to organize your day. Like, I'm going to spend X amount of day on eBay and X amount of time somewhere else. Where would you recommend for a seller who was primarily a clothing seller to add on another platform if they wanted to see if perhaps another platform could juice their sales a little bit? Can you think of anything? I'll let you guys think for a second. And then I'm going to tell you my recommendation. Okay? So let me just see if anybody's jumping in here. Hey, good, good, good. Hi, hi, hi. Good, everybody's here? We're talking weather. I don't say, okay. So this is it, Poshmark. If you are a clothing seller, and you could be on Etsy with clothing, because Etsy is great for vintage clothing, by the way. Poshmark, Sharon said Poshmark. Yes, Cheryl, exactly. Poshmark, Robin, Poshmark, yes. And I will tell you why. And first of all, if you are a vintage clothing seller, absolutely you would, and you're just on eBay, absolutely you would want to consider Etsy, because Etsy is really good for vintage clothing. But the reason why Dale's saying Bonanza, yeah, Bonanza is easy because it's an importer, but I don't find it has the volume. So what I do find has the volume is Poshmark. I will tell you why. It is hot right now. You know, different platforms are hot at different times. I don't know how long it will last. It may stay hot for several years. I don't know. But right now, it is on fire. It is getting press. People are jumping on. It's sellers of all ages. It used to be primarily younger, so it was primarily Gen Z and millennial. It is now all ages. It used to be just women. There's now plenty of men coming onto Poshmark and selling on Poshmark. But if you're a clothing seller and you've been on eBay for a while, you know, if you're only on eBay a couple of weeks, keep going. Go on my YouTube channel, watch my videos, keep going, join my Facebook group, eBay Selling Basics, Nothing But Selling Basics. But if you are an experienced clothing seller, I really encourage you to go on Poshmark. And I'm going to give you a couple of Poshmark tips. The first one is you're going to want to get at least 10 listings up, 10. For whatever reason with their algorithm, it is best to have 10 up or it's not that 2 or 3 isn't okay, but over and over I see on different blogs and different recommendations that you want to have at least 10 up. There are search reasons for that, and perhaps in the future I'll do videos about Poshmark search. And in fact, if you're selling on Poshmark and you want below and let me know, yes, Kathy, I want Poshmark tips on search. Yes, Kathy, I want Poshmark tips on using party customer service on shipping. Let me know below what Poshmark tips you're looking for. I'm going to give you 3 today. So the first one is get at least 10 listings up. Okay. Poshmark is primarily men and women's clothing and children's clothing. You can also sell makeup. It needs to be brand new. So it cannot be a sample or a tester that's even been swatched once. It needs to be brand new makeup, sealed. I know some makeup, it's brand new, like there's not a seal on it, but you open it and if you look at it, if you look at the blush or the eyeshadow, you can tell that it's never been brushed even once. So brand new. And cell phone accessories, because I did sell a cell phone case on Poshmark that I did well on. I found, and this is one for my eBay sellers, but this would also work if you're coming from Etsy or another site, is just copy and paste your listing. Don't overthink it. What you want to do is just get your listings up and start to get familiar with Poshmark. All you do is you log in with an email. You will need to give them some banking and financial information, but it's literally like in 5 minutes you have an account. It's very, very simple. Copy and paste your title, upload your photos, copy and paste your description. Don't overthink it. You're just learning it. The titles are shorter, so you're going to need to pull some of your keywords out. But basically, you just copy and paste. Then you're going to pick what category it is. Again, it's men's, women's, children. Like within women's clothing, it's whether it's a top or a dress. Everything's drop down. It is very simple. It is much faster to list on Poshmark than it is on eBay, because there's much fewer categories. Because people say to me, well, why can't eBay, be as easy as Poshmark? Well, because on eBay, you sell everything from soup to nuts, and Poshmark is very limited about what you can legally sell. So again, we're talking women's clothing. Same thing would be true for men's clothing or children's clothing. You're going to have drop downs for what it is. Is it men's, women's, kids? Drop down. Is it a dress, a top, a shirt, a jacket, lingerie? Forget if they call it lingerie, but it's obvious what it is. Shoes. Then you type in the brand. A lot of the brands pre-fill or have a drop down. Then colors, and you pick colors, and you can pick up to 2 colors. So it can be black and white, red and green. You don't say anything about the color because this is all drop down. The equivalent on eBay would be item specific. Price. Now, this is one thing. They want to know the original retail price. And a lot of times, because you might be selling a used item, you have no idea. But if it is a major brand, let's say it's Ann Taylor, just Google it. Ann Taylor blouse, Ann Taylor sweater. The Poshmark police is not going to come after you. Sometimes people get very creative with the price. So let's say it's an Ann Taylor blouse that would sell like for $110. They'll say it was $220. I think anybody who's shopping knows that it's very unlikely for an Ann Taylor blouse to be that much unless it's like super sequined and some crazy fabric. So I really is just Google it, look at what the brand is, look at what new is. And that's what they want. They want the retail price if it was new with tags, and just do your best guess. You don't need to like go crazy. Then you put down the price that you're selling it for. Okay. And then you'll list it. And listen, right before you list, there's a bunch of toggles for social media, and you can link up the accounts if you want. Do not toggle Facebook on, because it will post to your personal page and it will spam your friends forever. They will not love you. It's not like eBay. On eBay, when you go to share an item and you go to share it to Facebook, there's a toggle, so you can choose to share it to your Facebook business page. For whatever reason, Poshmark isn't set up that way. So make sure you toggle it off. You're going to spam your friends. And what the other thing which I happen to really like about Poshmark, particularly if you're a newer seller, but even as experienced sellers, it's nice. Right before you're listing it, it will tell you how much money you're going to make when the item sells. This is really helpful because they know them. So they know, like, if I'm listing it for 80, this is how much I'm going to make after all my Poshmark fees are paid. And your Poshmark fee is 20% of the selling price, which is a lot, but it includes the shipping label, which is great. So for instance, on eBay, I might only be paying 14%, but then I have to pay $4 or $5 for my shipping label, whether or not, I'm charging my customer shipping. With Poshmark, the shipping is included in that 20%. And with Poshmark, everything goes priority. There's no choice. You cannot send first class. You cannot do anything. There is a thing called bundling. If you want to know more about bundling, post below, says Kathy, I want to know more about bundling, and I'll do future tips on bundling. But basically, it's a flat rate. It cannot be negotiated. There are some offer things, but basically it's flat rate. And also the shoppers on Poshmark know that. So it's a given. So you'll see how much you're going to make, and then you list. Then it's up to you if you want to be doing Pinterest and Twitter and everything else. But you list. So again, you want to get 10 items up, and then copy and paste your description, copy and paste your title from eBay. Again, you're going to need to shorten it, and you're good. So Sandy's saying, is there any way to bulk share listings? No, there's not, Sandy. And this is my bonus tip. It's good that Sandy brought it up. No, you can't. Everything is one at a time. You've just got it, like, either you're sharing it one at a time or you're putting it into a scheduler. Not sure if this is correct, but it sure can be a time suck. Yes, listen, anything can be a time suck. Anything when you're learning it, and I caution you with this, and this would be me teaching you how to sell on eBay or Etsy or anywhere, is when you're starting, it is slow. It is better to go slowly and get 2 or 3 listings up correctly than to have a bunch of things up. You know, this is certainly true on anywhere, than to go back and have to revise. So once they're up, then you can share. If you have set up your account and you've linked your Pinterest and everything, yes, it can automatically share, but you can't bulk it. You can't take all your listings and push them out. Sandy, part of that is because it gets really spammy. You don't want all of a sudden like 50 pins going out, 50 Twitters going out. Twitter's a little more, you can get away with it, but otherwise just throw them into a scheduler and do it fast. But if you do have the toggle, it will go right out. Just don't do it to Facebook because it goes to your personal page. So it will go to your Pinterest account. It will go to Twitter. Take a look at the listing flow on Poshmark, okay? Next thing is, so you have decided I'm doing Poshmark. I want to see if this increases my sales. There is no listing fees. I'm going to say that again. No listing fees. You risk nothing by listing on Poshmark. Nothing, because there's no money up front. You're not paying until the item sells, okay? At least 10 listings. Copy and paste your eBay listing or your Etsy listing or your Amazon listing, wherever it's coming from. Don't toggle on Facebook. If you want to toggle other things on, that's fine, which is Pinterest and Twitter, I think they offer. They might have like Tumblr. Take a look at that. You have nothing to lose. Worst case scenario is you list 10, and again, now my friend who did it got a sale in 24 hours. She put up 25 items and she had a sale in 24 hours. She got a sale, okay? So you have nothing to lose. If it's a little slow, why not? And again, I always say follow the money. So if the majority of your money is from eBay, you want the majority of your time going into eBay. If the majority of your money is coming from Amazon, you want the majority of your time to go to Amazon, okay? So when you're starting on Poshmark, realizing there's a learning curve. So let's say I do 30 minutes a day listing on eBay. So now maybe I chop that to 20 minutes a day listing on eBay. Then I take 10 minutes and I dedicate that to Poshmark. I look at my eBay items. Why not list your slow selling items? Why not list the things that have been sitting on eBay? I did this when I started on Poshmark. I listed the things that have been sitting on eBay forever that I was like, please, will somebody come and buy these things? You know, I sold 2 of them within the first week. And this is why. And then I've got a scoop. Different people shop different places. It's just like social media. Some people love Facebook. Other people love Pinterest. Other people love Twitter. And this is why once you get into social media, you want to be everywhere, okay? It is the same thing with shopping. Some people live on Amazon. Other people live on eBay. Other people live on Poshmark, okay? Just with the app or desktop. You can do either way. So there are people that are shopping on Poshmark that on eBay, that never come on Amazon, and you are missing getting sales because your items aren't there. And if you're a clothing seller, also makeup seller, so my makeup and my cosmetics people, you definitely want to be on Poshmark, I'm missing reaching those people. So for 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, or get your teens to help you or your sister to help you or a friend or family to help you, and say, copy and paste my listings and put them into my Poshmark account. If you have the budget, you can have a VA do it. Copy and paste my eBay listings and put them on my Poshmark account and see how it goes. You have nothing to lose except for some time. Okay, time investment. But good grief, if you can, so let's say I'm selling $100 a day on eBay. Let's say I even only get 10% of that. So I get an extra $10 a day from Poshmark, right? That's $70 a week. That's $140 every 2 weeks. That's $280 a month or more. You know, let's say I'm doing $5,000 a month on eBay, and let's say Poshmark only brings in $1,000. That's $12,000 a year. I'll take that, right? If Poshmark only increases your sales by 10% or 15%, that's a 10% increase. Whatever you're making right now, that's a 10% increase in sales, or 15 or 20. And some sellers discover that their stuff, for whatever reason, sells much better on Poshmark than it does other places. you'll discover that and you'll go, okay, so now my home base is now going to become Poshmark. And I love eBay. I'll continue to sell there, but now it's going to be more of a side thing. Okay. And there are sellers that discover that. My commitment to you is to always help you sell more and to find the place where you're going to sell more for your inventory, that you'll discover your customers. And that's why I encourage my clothing seller friends and my makeup and cosmetic seller friends to be selling on Poshmark. It's great additional revenue. Signed up but never posted after constant bombardment for parties and follow requests. So Pam, what I'll do is, because that is a whole nother subject, and I will definitely address that for you. If you do find it overwhelming, then you know what, you back off and you do eBay and you wait until you learn a little more, okay? But if you are able to turn all your notifications off, okay, and just get the 10 listings up and then share a little bit and see if that works for you. If it's not, if it's too much, then don't do it. Susan is saying sharing is key every day. Some say to share your closet 3 times a day. I have over 200 items. That's a lot to share every day. It is, Susan. So you know what? You do the best you can, or depending on what your sales are, you can hire a VA. I know people that have their teens doing it, okay? Is consider about what, it's always about what is going to work for you. You can spend all day doing social media. You can spend all day listing. It's a matter of, I have this amount of time I'm willing to dedicate, and I'll see if I get this amount of sales. And people make a lot of different recommendations that are great, but we all have time constraints. I have this amount of time. This is where I'm making the most money. This is the area that needs to get the most focus. And I talk about these kind of things, the time management. And Susan, you are one of my insiders. So come on into the insiders group, because we'll talk about that. And if you guys don't know, I have a membership group. It's called Social Media Insiders. I'm going to show you this. So if you go on my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and click members, right now it's a wait list. It opens up a couple of times a year. And jump on my wait list, because when it does open up, you do want to get yourself on, because I do talk about expanding to other websites all the time. So just jump on the wait list and then you'll get a priority notification. What happened? Here we go. There we go. It's all that thing about how much time, and I deal with that in the insiders room, time management, what platforms to be on, what's the best way to use the time, how to know what platforms to be on, how to know how much time to spend on each platform. And there is information. The insiders members have a website, and I break down Poshmark and I break down eBay. So you have information on that. In fact, we have a really great eBay seller coming in who actually started their business from nothing and now has warehouse and employees to give us tips about how to scale a business. Because it's not just how to start your business, but then how to grow your business. But if you want more Poshmark tips, comment below. Let me know what you want tips on. Do you want tips on parties? Do you want tips on bundles? Do you want to, time management's a great one. So if you want to say, is like, how on earth do I share my entire closet when I have 200 items? So tips on sharing. Just comment below. I'll go through and I'll read them all, and I'll give you some more Poshmark tips. But if you're not on, I encourage you. Again, all you got to do is get 10 up, share as you have time as far as to social media and within the Poshmark environment. If you find you're getting overwhelmed by the notifications, just like on eBay, just like on Amazon, just like on Etsy, turn them off. Or the other thing is you can see what notifications they have. Now, for instance, like with eBay, is I can choose which notifications that I want to get and do the ones that are going to work for you. My commitment to you is that you have the online business that you want, that you are getting the sales that you want. That's what my commitment is to you. That's what I want for you. And that's what all these broadcasts are about. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye.